Yeah.
At the tune, the time will be bong, 10 after 5, and we will start the Rural Library meeting. Board of Trustees, roll call. We will start with you.
Thomas Garcia.
Alice McDonald.
Carol Peterson.
Patsy Adams Warnock. Andrea Bergling.
Elizabeth Ombre.
Josh Westbrook.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
I added at the very bottom under new business to the one that you received and that was posted on the website, I added action motion to extend interim director contract.
I move we approve the agenda as written in the printed copies we have. Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda as in the printed copies that we have. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. At this time, we will take anybody who wishes to make public comment. We ask that you give your name and address, whether you are city or county, and you have up to 3 minutes. Anybody? Anybody? Okay, moving right along.
I was going to say that if we were here with the lights out, this is the rural library district.
Okay. All righty. Approval of the minutes from the board meeting of April 15.
There is a correction to be made. It says that the board meeting this month was going to be May 15th. And it's May 13th, and there's a couple of places
That reference that way?
that references it.
Okay.
At least, let's see, it's on page... the lights went out just as I was going to write down the number.
Somewhere on here, huh?
Mm-hmm. There, at the top of page 15 in the
Dark print.
dark print, it's there, but it's also one other place I believe it's right.
Alrighty. That's fine.
Well, Josh can do
The
a
last
search
two.
and replay.
Probably
Yep.
the last 2 pages.
Yeah, within the last 2 pages. Any other corrections to the minutes? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
I move that we accept the corrected minutes.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we accept the minutes as corrected. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving right along. No problem. Okay, we are down to the financial reports.
Okay. The detailed budget report, you all received a really huge one, but what I did was cut it down and just had the budget and the May, and then the total to date and the percentages. So it should be easier to read. I would point out down under library director, I changed the number down to 4 months of a this is not an expenditure. This is just a in red a change that you'll see in the budget resolution, because I had first I had 9 months in there, and then I had 8 months, and now it's down to probably 4 months. I figure. Thinking when we would get somebody on board. If it were by July, the first paycheck would be August, September, October, November, December. So there's that, and everything else is fairly normal. We have we bought some Kindles, and we bought some furniture. So the numbers in the equipment and the electronic books is higher than would be average for a month.
How much are those little Kindles, John?
I believe the ones we bought were $139, I think. The paperweight, the backlit screen. Not the tablet, but the e-ink screen with the backlight. And then the projectors were on there too, which kicked that up, I believe, also.
And the projectors for $1,593, something like that. Right. We're really improving the equipment situation throughout the district.
Is the furniture for the little people at Plaza? Is that furniture we're talking about, or?
That furniture has not yet been received, although they're working on it right now.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Oh, the little people furniture,
Well, we bought some more little bench and cube things just to kind of fill in. We're still waiting on tables. Right?
Yeah, we're still waiting on the
Okay.
tables.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you noticed an increase in those particular areas, that's why. And our office supplies is also very high because the Kindle covers to make the Kindle safe came out of supplies.
Oh, okay.
If you'll look on the third page of what I've given you, you'll see that the professional services, which is near the top, is at 111%. That's because we only budgeted $40,000 for my contract, and in addition we have put in all of the costs for our legal administration. So that will be in our budget resolution, and then the percentages will be back to something reasonable again. But I just wanted to point that out, that that'll be addressed in the budget resolution. And then, nothing unusual there. You go to the end. Oh, our training and professional development. Oh, that's not it. It's travel. The travel. It has 3 people going to the WLA OLA convention, so it includes the mileage for that as well as the hotel.
And what
Where
three
is
people is that?
That was in Vancouver, and it was
Okay.
like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
And
awesome.
I went, but this district did not pay for it. It was paid for by my Oregon State Library.
Oh,
Yeah. And it was Chris, Laura, and Virginia from Burbank.
okay.
And they say they had a really great time and learned a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was quite a fine convention. It really was. So that's why the travel is higher than the 41% of the month, the year that we're at. And then finally, down here we have the courier van purchase for $15,927. You don't see it there yet. Yes, it's up above.
Do we pay sales tax on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. He got it for $14,500, and it was listed at 16 something.
69. Yeah.
Yeah. So he got it down and then paid all the taxes.
You would have to pay the tax, even if you bought it in Oregon, you'd have to pay the
Oh,
tax.
right. I
Yeah.
didn't
If
know
we
if we
were
were
not, no.
in a position that we didn't have to do that. But
No.
boogers.
You have to,
Okay.
well, you have a tax exempt, do you have a tax exempt license on it?
I believe so. I'll call and ask, because it should
Yeah.
have a tax exempt license when we get it.
Yeah, he's
Right.
already thought of that. So,
Yeah.
but you have to look at it, don't you?
I have to say, yeah, that way I know we'll probably get, we'll have to figure out what's involved.
Anyway, the cost of the van is currently sitting under operating contingency because we didn't have a line for the
Okay.
van under capital. That's also resolved in the budget resolution. And I did that.
Change the mileage, or that's just going to go into gas and we won't need to change that line?
It'll just go into the travel because he's in the courier. But I have a separate line for courier under travel. Travel costs, you see. I have district courier, and that's where all of his costs go for his mileage.
Right.
And once he's
So that'll
driving,
just transfer over as far as gas.
exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
just come
Now-
out of a different hole. Yeah.
Right.
Several
different
months ago, when you thought you were gonna buy the little one, we had a motion for 15,000. Does it, can it be the same? I don't remember. We said
I've got a
it's-
new motion.
Oh, it's a new motion.
Yeah, to make it, now that we found it, and now that it's got the taxes and it's a little over the 15, and that just makes it nice and clean.
Okay.
But Josh did a really good job on that. That's right, Andrea. The gas will just go right into that
So we don't
line.
need another line item once we have it purchased. It'll all just.
That's correct. That's correct. So you'll see in the budget resolution where I've dropped the courier van purchase down into capital funds. And we're going to appropriate $16,000 to cover it and then move it down from the operating contingency.
And the budget will stay the same on the mileage.
Totally. Yeah. It'll probably be less.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're
Yeah.
saving money by getting it.
Absolutely.
So you won't need it for next year. The budget might be a little
Yeah, it'll be
the
less.
same thing.
Yeah, we'll be able
By
to
then
tell
you'll
maybe
know-
half a year.
Yeah.
By then you'll know
exactly.
how many
Yeah.
miles per gallon you're getting.
Yeah.
Right.
To
All
make,
right.
to make
Two.
it.
Good. We
Yeah.
got- Sounds like everything's covered.
Yep, it is. So that's that. And then your green sheet, which comes into, because I didn't get it stapled, is just the thing that we get from the auditor's office, Susan. And the numbers are just the same. I just pop in the numbers into our bigger spreadsheet. I'm not sure if I sent this to you. I didn't receive it very long ago, so I may have sent it. But there's nothing unusual here, except that you'll see that the appropriations are not there because we haven't done our budget resolution yet. If you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to see what I can say about it. We do not have a treasurer's financial statement. I haven't even received the one for March yet. So they're just really slow. It is.
We'll get it when we get it.
Yeah, and when I get that, that's how I'm able to reconcile our own sheets, the ones that we take care of, because the county doesn't seem to reconcile it for us at all. Yeah, those are all the budget resolution
Yeah, I saw
things.
that.
Yeah. So, do you have any questions on the expenditures that you've seen in the budget line? The percentages are good, except for the ones that we're going to adjust. I should point out, let's see, yeah, see there, see all of the staff people there in red on the second page? I'd like to point that out right now.
Second page of the colorful one?
Yeah,
The
the
rainbow.
colorful one.
Rainbow.
Okay.
See right down the middle, under all the staff, see all those red lines?
Yeah.
All that red? Well, that's been in place since the beginning of the year, essentially, except for the director, which I've been moving down as the months go by. So these are not changes, and it doesn't change the bottom line. What I did was, when we first did the budget, I just took a person's salary, their hours, and multiplied it out. But in fact, they get their raises at different times during the year, so this is a very refined version. We just pick up a few dollars here and there. Plus, a few of them have changed hours. So it's nothing to worry about because we've been operating under those numbers since January 1. And the only thing that I have to correct on the budget resolution is the total of the salaries, the 489,249. That's the only thing that has to be corrected. So I just wanted to point that out in case you got home and thought, how come we're changing all of that? It has to do with people.
Well, it's not very big.
No, it's not. I just want to refine it so that we could really track it. I mean, some people have come on board, some people have left.
Right.
There are different salaries. We've added some administrative help and so on and so forth. I wanted to point that out.
All righty, thank you.
Okay.
You have a lot of different classifications. I mean, there's
Yeah, Chris and I finally worked that out. I had those steps and categories, and then we kept everybody where they belonged, but we expanded it and spread it out. And I actually remember for Andrea where I did the 10-year projection for you. That got me started on you remember way back?
On the salaries.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to revisit it though.
Sure.
I would.
Sure.
On when we cap out a person,
Yeah.
how they stay motivated.
They either like the job or they don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I was 22 years in one place and I capped out, within 6.
Well, I have been concerned for a while. We had said we'd table it, and I think it's time to revisit because
Me
I've
too.
done some homework on it.
Yeah.
Talked to some people in government, people in private sector, and a couple people anonymously at the library to get everyone's input before I spoke out of turn and said what my opinion was.
Yeah.
So I would like to revisit the
Absolutely.
concept.
Absolutely. I can give you all the information you need. And
And then when we come up with,
do you want to do that next month?
Sure, yeah, let's talk about it next month. Let's
Sure.
put it on the agenda to discuss as an open discussion. I don't think anything needs to happen right away,
Right,
but I'd like to discuss it again.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
so be it. Okay, vouchers. We have our trustee voucher checker, Alice, who has gone down previous and dug through the vouchers. They are so stimulating. I just want you to know that I've done them a couple of times.
Okay, excuse me.
Thank you, Alice, for doing it.
Oh, it's just enjoy. I have nothing better to do with my time. I just go down there.
I think Maid Marian has done Lost Robin Hood.
I just hope I don't miss anything. I
You're
mean,
fine.
I look
Yeah,
at them
I'm
and
sure.
Trust me, you're good, you're good.
they're pretty boring. So okay, I would like to move. I'm moving, right?
Yeah.
I'm moving along. That we accept the May 13 vouchers numbered 289 to 368 in the amount of $165,463.23.
Does the chair have a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we pay May vouchers numbering 289 to 368 in the amount of $165,463.23. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Okay. Move these around to be signed.
Yeah, start. All right.
Carol, while that's going around, would you sign the, well, no, we gotta fix the May 15th thing, or shall I just change it by hand? Or shall I
It's
print out a
okay
whole
to change
nother
it by
copy?
hand as long as it's initialed.
Okay.
And dated.
Right.
And show that each change.
Yes, ma'am.
It said merchandiser services. They told us at Park and Rec that we now have to separate out goods and services from salaries and taxes, just on the motion. Have they told you that?
No,
Well, as long as they don't tell you to.
we have benefits, we have the benefits.
We know
which-
nothing.
We have the benefits, which includes the taxes.
Apologize later.
So it is separated out. You'll
But
see
I mean,
there-
they made us make the motion separate.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I mean, they said it's something.
Who, the
that-
county?
County. Yeah. But they haven't said anything to you about it.
Well, go ahead and do it if you like. I mean,
No, I just,
it's right there.
no, I just
We have-
was wondering if
Did
they had done that.
you
Yeah, I
make
don't know if
a...
that's a different one.
What numbers?
No, we're good, because the two together add up to... Please sign, so you're good.
Well, we're talking about money. Can I ask a question, Aletha? Can we, I don't know when we got all the paperwork on how much all of this was going to cost us, the building and John Campbell, and can we see where we are on that?
I have papers on that.
Okay. Here with
Yeah.
us? Okay.
Yeah, it's just later on the, in the
Okay.
reports.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Go find
let
it.
the really
Okay.
come back.
And we don't have the treasurer's
Carol,
financial.
would you sign the minutes, please?
Oh,
Because I often forget and then I have to chase you down.
I'm using your, is that a pencil too? Oh my God.
Yeah, here.
Go right over it, how's that sound? Do you need a pen? I think that's all.
Any more?
I used it for the second one.
Aletha,
Why would I bring a pencil? I don't know.
What?
Because the kids had a car problem.
you need everyone's signature on
Yeah,
Um,
Thomas hadn't signed it.
These,
Yeah.
Yes?
did you sign?
No, he didn't.
Ah,
It's a Harley Davidson.
Oh, because you started, oh, yes,
My
thank
husband
you.
said that's as close as I'll ever get to getting one.
Yes, I do need your signature. Thank you very much.
It's a little piston, the thing on the top of it. It's a piston.
Okay. Thank you, Carol.
Yes. Okay, did I jump over the auditor's expenditure status, or do we have it yet?
That was that green thing.
Okay, thank you. I didn't jump over. But we don't have the treasurer's financial.
That's correct, we don't.
All righty. No. These people keep me confused. Staff reports were online. Reimbursement program was online. I would see that thing really tailing significantly, and I find it very enlightening.
Absolutely.
We're up to 11 this month. What's our total?
Yeah.
The
Very
total
good.
would be, what it would be,
Over 300.
307, including to date, would be 307.
Compared to what we paid last year.
No, for crying out loud, in the last 10 years. Yeah,
Reality's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
especially when it's on your side. Alrighty, annual state library report.
That got sent in at the end of April
Okay.
and filed. And I don't seem to have last year's. When I brought this, I don't have last year's there. But we're up in all categories. Josh worked on it. He worked on all the technical stuff, and I just did the money, basically. And our circulation is up, and our collections are up. What can you say about it?
Well, the collections might be a little down, but we're doing weeding. We're in the
Yeah.
middle of weeding when we report it, so there might be a little discrepancy there. The interesting thing to note is that physical items may be down, but digital items went way up because we're buying more through Overdrive, and now we have other things. So if you see a dip in collections, it's because we're just weeding and pulling.
Getting ready to have a big used book sale.
Well, Anna has a program going where she's able to send books off to someone that resells them, and then we get.
Oh, that's-
a bit
Remember
of
that program
back.
they send the boxes? Is that the one?
Yeah.
And then they
That's
they
nice.
resell the old books if they can, and they send them to libraries in other countries,
Okay.
third world
Yeah.
countries.
Oh,
if
oh,
they
yes.
can't, we signed up for that, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's ringing bells now. My apologies. Sometimes my bells just
It's all right.
have a power
Would you
failure.
explain one more time, if we want something from Overdrive, who do we make that request to?
There should be. Well, you can. I'll put it this way: the easiest way, if you do it through the Walnut suggestions,
Okay.
there should be a little note field,
And just
and say please on Overdrive. Or I'd like this on Overdrive. Everything will go to Anna,
okay.
and she actually is set up to purchase Overdrive titles individually now. So,
And how much does that cost?
they're more expensive. The publishers can be anywhere from $50 to $80 because they're in infinite use kind of things, and the publishers want.
So if I want something, I really should kind of look and see if it's available in audio, because it's cheaper to just buy an audio than to do it in Overdrive.
It can be. It can be with the publisher.
Yeah.
So it's really up to how you really want to listen to it.
So I can say either or? If
Yeah,
I
you can. Yeah, you can put
do it
anything
that
you want in
way.
that note field. It'll go right
Okay.
to Anna. And
Okay.
she does the purchasing for both physical
Okay.
and digital, so she could
Okay.
figure it out. But the publishers really have a stranglehold on some of the books were costing over $100 because they just want you to get, it never, quote, wears out on the shelf, so they charge you more.
One publisher just went on board, and they only allow 26 uses before you have to buy it again. Because they calculate that that's how many handlings an ordinary book can have. Of course, they're nuts, but...
And there's a lot of grassroots stuff coming out of libraries where there's lots of petitions and news items. They're getting out there saying this isn't fair, pricing schemes and whatnot. So there's a bubbling up from the library world saying that, hey, we're being charged more, why?
Yeah.
So it's sort of
A lot of change.
Yeah, well, we can, because I think I can't remember which library did it in Washington, but they did a whole bunch of patron feedback and a whole marketing blitz on, contacting the publishers and saying that, this isn't a model we support.
And I would think that authors would rise up.
They could, depending
sell
on their deals with
directly.
their publishers, yeah, that's...
That's what music did.
Right, yeah, that's exactly what
Forget
music
the
did.
middleman
Forget
and-
it, we're going to sell it ourselves.
Yeah. And I think what libraries hit is having the technology and the mechanism to manage that. I mean, like right now, Overdrive is, Amazon is the mechanism to get that kind of stuff. But anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So it's an interesting world right now. It's the wild frontier. trying to figure out.
Yeehaw.
Well, they
and
don't, it is
Amazon
really.
said, I got something from Amazon quite a while ago saying you're going to be refunded some money because they overcharged.
There's
I've never
sometimes-
seen it,
yes.
but they,
There'll be legal settlements sometimes that come out
Yeah.
and you get a kickback for something you bought or something else.
not yet.
$1.25.
Now, I wanted to ask a question about the Zinio,
Mhm.
because I had a Zinio account of my own,
Mhm.
and now it's all confused, because it won't let me have the library Zinio account. They only want me to have the one in my own name, but I mean, because it's the same email address.
Oh, okay. It wouldn't let you merge the two, or no? Okay. I'll look into that. And
Okay.
I'll get you help on
So
that.
I'll call,
There was
call
some
me up
s-
sometime.
There was some specific instructions about
Okay.
that if you had an existing one. I'll look into it and see. if I
I'd
can figure it
recommend a new email address. Wouldn't that make it easier?
No,
Just
it's
have
too
an
complicated.
extra one?
An extra one?
Just a Gmail one you keep over here on the shelf for those moments.
I guess you're right.
I mean, sometimes it's easier to do that than all the other stuff. Okay, staff development activities.
And I wanted to know, have any of you downloaded music off of the music thing that we rent?
I haven't.
It works really good,
My
but they
kids
only let you have
don't
3
like
a week, but you can go back and get 3 more the next week, so you have to remember. But it's good music.
It's pretty painless, yeah. It's-
I started our manga club. I got all those teen girls into it, and there's Japanese
Uh-huh.
music on there, and they're loving it. So it is
Japanese pop music?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Don't
great.
ask me what it's about. I can't.
That's more on to me.
But it's very popular,
Synthesizer
and
on a washing
there's a big
machine.
section on there, and it's the stuff that you can't find. You can't find it in the.
Well, no, I mean,
Yeah.
if I were a merchant, I wouldn't be stocking that.
No,
it
it would be.
wouldn't be on my radar at all. But they love it, and I mean, on their phones, they're doing it all. So if anybody needs help, you ask them.
Well, that's the way it is
No,
with
the
anything.
music was way easier than the
Yes.
Zinio one.
Yeah,
Because the music worked just like iTunes does.
Oh, great.
yeah, they really like it.
Okay, staff development activities.
Well, as I mentioned, that there was the joint conference 2 weeks ago in Vancouver, and 3 of our staff went, and I went too. There were a lot of really great programs, and it's the networking is superb. It's really inspiring for staff to go to those things. So, did you want to say anything about it at all, Laura?
Well, I just really enjoy all the seminars I got to go to, because it's been several years since I have done story times, and I was just doing my own thing, which I'm still doing my own thing. I need to integrate some of what I've learned in those seminars, but all the energy there and the other people who are learning the same things, or they're like, well, what about if you do this? And all the interaction was great. So I really appreciated being able to go. I learned a lot.
And they all drove together.
Yes,
That was really
fun,
nice,
too.
yeah.
Well, I would imagine when you have especially lots of small libraries, 1 or 2 people get to go, and it's not often that you get to be with people like yourself. I mean, I don't mean that derogatorily, but
That's
not coming out well.
Like interests.
Yeah, thank you. I
I'll
mean,
fish you out of the hole.
yes, because sometimes, when you're by your lonesome doing a lot of things, you feel like you're the only duck out there on the ocean, and it's nice to see all those other ducks. So I think it's always important that we send people to those events.
Oh, I do too. The networking is really good.
Yeah. it
Yeah.
is.
Okay,
And
Ducky
then-
Derby.
Well, there's more spring training
Oh,
stuff.
sorry.
Everybody really liked the Columbus Day training.
Uh-huh.
It was an all-day thing. People got really worn out, and we had a lot going on. Some of the stuff stuck, and some of it didn't stick. So we've been thinking that more than once a year would be good, but there's no magical day in the spring when it's logical to be closed. So we were talking at the management meeting about using just the morning and just having it a half day and doing one out in the Burbank area and then one in the Walla Walla area. And so there'd be a spring training, and I think Chris is going to do it, isn't she? And you, maybe the digital.
Probably. I think the key, if we're going to split the staff up, because I think part of the big thing is getting all the staff together.
They really like that.
Yeah, if we're going to split staff up for one of them, we need to have the same trainers doing it so they hear the same thing.
Right.
And I think that would be a given that some of us would do it on both ends together.
Right, and it would be basically introducing everybody to the wonders of the digital media and the equipment
new
so on.
procedures and whatnot that
Right.
come up.
And the good thing is that most of our branches don't open until 11 or 12. So
you're
we
not
don't,
missing.
right,
Yeah.
right. So we're not really impacting the public that much. Whereas if we all get together in one place or the other, then there's all that travel time, which also impacts the public. So that's it. And then moving on to Ducky Derby. Carol came up with the idea.
My husband came up with it.
Her husband came
I have
up
to give
with
him
that.
the credit.
Yeah, she emailed me and I just sent it out into the world and they all pounced on it like, oh, what a great idea. What a great idea. So Josh got the form from the Exchange Club, got us all signed up. There's some emails that went back and forth. And just here's a few of the little clips. You offered your canopy.
Yes.
So we'll have to figure out how to get that or how to...
No, we'll have it set up for you.
Okay.
My husband lives out there that day.
Okay.
So what is it? I don't understand what's happening.
That's the little duck.
Ducky Derby is part of the Exchange Club. Has this huge fundraiser. They sell ducks. Somebody in the Tri-Cities, I'm sure. And yeah, they go down to Mill Creek. But they've turned it into a family festival. So there are all kinds of activities for families.
For free.
For free. It doesn't cost anybody anything.
Just the ducks did.
Just the
Raise
ducks.
money for-
And you don't have
Right.
to do the
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
Same thing as Tri-Cities. Okay.
right.
So you're going to have a booth then? Is that-
But that's
Yeah.
basically, we'll have a booth.
And here's some of the things they're going to do. The lady that brings the Read to Rover dogs in Tushy is going to bring one of her poodles to read at the Ducky Derby for a little while. She won't be there the whole time. And Carlotta's bringing a stack of ducky books to read from. And then there's going to be the digital services flyer, which I believe Virginia has developed. Is that right?
Yeah, they're working on it.
Yep, and that'll be ready to hand out, so everybody will see our new digital, our digital library, you know?
Lovely.
Yeah, very nice. And then 3 staff members will be attending, and we'll be paying them for the hours they're there. Are you going, Laura?
Yes, I am.
And who else? Carlotta, I guess.
I thought Chris was, but I didn't receive all of those emails. that you
No,
sent out,
these-
so
I
I
just-
got that from the last I heard, which actually I was going to email later this week to find
Yeah.
out if that's still.
Nobody has actually had an email meeting about it or anything. It's just like all these ideas came floating through, and I just this is just random stuff, and I just want to share with the board.
Well, more ideas can come in there. You're not stuck as of this
Right.
date, whatever you signed up for. There will be a carpet kind of thing over the grass underneath the canopy.
Right.
So,
And we're going to bring a ton of books to give away.
I've got that. We've
Yeah.
got free books to give away. That's Josh saying it. He'll bring an 8-foot folding table and several folding chairs and help take it down and bring tons of free books to give out. And then Chris has got a couple beanbag toss games and maybe a counting game for the little ones. And she's asking if anybody has any ducky beanbags. So it'll be fun.
yeah. And do we have a sign yet?
We have a banner.
We have a banner?
We
Okay.
have a vinyl banner. It came in. It looks pretty good. And we'll probably take the table you're at here and we'll get the banner on the front of it.
Okay. Or if you want, we can put the banner up on
Oh,
the
we could put it
canopy.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
It's got hooks.
I just personally feel like the more we get out into the public, I think one of our
Yes.
biggest challenges has been is that
Public relations.
we were a hidden secret. I mean, we slaved away, but nobody knew what in the world we were, or who we were, however you want to put it. And I think this is a great, Jim thought it was, he says, you guys need to get out there, and
Yeah.
because there's just tons of little kids
Good.
at
Yeah.
this thing.
It's really exciting. We tried to do the balloon thing last year, but the staff that was going to do it had a conflict, and so it didn't.
And doesn't the balloon thing charge you for your space?
There's I think
Yeah.
there's just a
It was
fee.
modest, $25. I
Yeah,
think.
it was nothing that made us
Okay,
fall.
that's
Yeah.
Okay.
and
But this
I
is
don't-
way
it's,
better. Way better.
I
I think this
Great.
thing is
Cards sign up
free.
that day?
oh yeah, they just
This
said
is
it was
nice.
It's a
free,
good idea.
and there were some stipulations about you're not what required of you and what
Be a
kind of
way to
stuff
take
you're doing.
money
But it was
if
really
there's-
easy stuff.
Yeah.
College planks or whatever.
It'd be interesting to see what 4th of July in the park is all about. Maybe
Oh, yes.
who knows?
That
Hot.
might-
Yeah, hot. It'll be hot.
It's hot.
It might be
That's another-
something.
And it's
else.
long.
Yeah, it's all day.
That was the one thing I thought was really attractive about this is what is it,
It's only
4
like
hours?
4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're not asking people to give up their life
right.
for the weekend.
And then summer reading, I think I sent that to everybody, but this is the Burbank flyer, and I think they're all kind of modeling their flyers on that. It's kind of fun. Does that look like what you're doing?
Yes, Chris had said that Virginia had already put something together, and I said, well, it's great that you want to share it, that way we're not all spending our time doing the same
Right.
thing.
Right.
It's really cute. Yeah, it's cute. So that's the fun stuff for kids and families.
Do we know what the public library's theme is? Is everybody's the same?
No.
Usually, yeah, that's our
Well, there's a
national.
big collaborative summer reading program you can get.
Yeah.
And you can adhere to that as much as you want. There's graphics, there's logos, slogans, and like all the art on there is all from that. I haven't seen theirs yet, I don't know, but normally they stick with the general theme.
They are doing the dig into reading.
Okay.
They're doing that.
I think I would be doing that with a backhoe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to the Latino music at the plaza. And
Oh, did you?
Yeah, did you go to Burbank? He was out of Burbank? He was really, really good. And he went to Vista Hermosa, you said?
Yeah, Anna was at that one and she said it was fantastic.
It must have been with the kids, because
With
he had a bunch
tons
of
and tons of kids.
instruments, and he was very
Was it well
professional.
attended?
No, but you would not have known it. He spoke for an hour, and he had grown-ups doing what I do.
A weeble.
Oh, thank you. I was really nervous because I don't know music at all.
You don't have to know music.
Well, you have to-
No wrong note with a weero.
Well, if everybody's doing one and I'm doing another one, I stick out like a sore thumb. But anyway, I was glad I went, and a few people, I spoke to whoever was there, and they actually were very interested in the music. They came specifically because they had heard he was speaking, and so it's unfortunate. It was 6 o'clock. It was it's Balloon Stampede weekend.
No.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah.
do things like that, but it was good. It was really good. Usually those humanities things are.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said at Vista they were having so much fun he actually broke an instrument.
Oh,
But they said it was just Anna went out there because I guess that he needed to get his paycheck, so she ran it out there to him, and she said all the kids were having a lot of fun.
I
out
know.
there.
I wanted
You
to
could
bring
tell
my
that that one
grandson.
was-
I
it
didn't
was-
have him that night. I
Yeah.
almost stole him just to bring him.
It was like the whole school and community, and then they said that was
Great.
really worthwhile. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. The director search process interim report.
Okay. I'm not sure if it's been 3 weeks since I put out the.
About that?
Yeah. So it was after the last meeting.
Right.
just
Just after.
Yeah.
Okay. So it went on ALA website, and that's the one that costs a lot of money, but it's really worth it. It was like $272
It was something around there.
or $22, something like that.
It was either 272 or 227. I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, what happens is it goes on the website. They leave it up for 60 days. On the East Coast, there are no local or regional library associations that have any power or relevance. They're not like the ones out here in the West, which are very powerful, very networked. So the ALA will get any and all people east of the Mississippi. Plus, it's also the website that the job search, not vendors, but
There's other
what do they
websites out
call
there
them?
that go out there and they find it.
they mine
Headhunters.
it. They
Yeah.
mine it.
Hunters.
And
Headhunters.
yeah, and they pull it out and then they just put it all over the place. And some of them, I guess, are commercial and some are
But there's-
headhunters. And
There's some that are like grassroots by just people
Right.
who are in the library field, and they're like,
Yeah.
I need a libraryjob.com, and they've got all these posts
Right.
everywhere.
yeah, I don't know what they're called. They're called repurposing or
Yeah.
resending or something. But anyway, and then $25 to get it on Mountain Plains. Yes, library system, which covers all of the Dakotas, Nebraska, Colorado, Utah, Idaho, New Mexico. I mean, really, a really outstanding place for potential candidates to come from. And then the Pacific Northwest Library Association and the Oregon Library Association, they're free, and people go to them even from the East Coast. And then also I put on Arizona's because there's no southern connection to any of this, and Arizona's was free as well. So, so far, it's been 3 weeks, I guess, and so far I've received one paper in the mail and one contact by email and then by telephone call. And I'm not surprised because a job like this, it's going to take them a while to put together a resume to get them to us. And it doesn't close until the 24th of May.
24th of May.
24th of May. So what I'm imagining is that it closes on the 24th of May. It'll take us, not very long to pick out the ones that we might want to interview. Let's say by the 1st of June we'll know. And then it'll take us a little while, a couple weeks anyway, to set up interviews on people we might want to interview. That gets us to mid-June. And then if we find somebody that's really good, they'll probably have to give notice. So that might get us to mid-July. See? So it's kind of out there. And so that's what I'm hoping is that by mid-July or the 1st of August, if we get a good candidate in this round.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And as I get the applications, I will share them with the board. But I need to ask you, the one I did receive by mail actually doesn't really qualify according to what we asked for. So, I mean, I can send you all of them, or just the ones that, the top ones, I think, and then if you want to look at the rest of them, that's okay.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel that this, even though they didn't meet the criteria that we set out, do they have skills and talents that would make it work?
This particular one, I would say we should hold out for someone
Okay.
else because of the youth and the length of time, the recency of the degree,
Okay.
and the fact that this person has been in a niche instead of broad. So I think that person probably wouldn't have the budgeting skills, for example. So I'm sure it's a very fine person,
Okay.
but I think it's a little early in
In
that
their
person's career.
Right.
Yeah.
It's my
Okay.
opinion, after seeing how you have been very favorable to the employees we have as far as giving them chances, that if you look at a resume, you will know if they deserve a chance to have an interview or not. I think that she's
Yeah.
pretty good at
Right.
Yeah.
not following the stringent rules and saying, okay, this person looks like they could do it even though they don't
Okay.
follow it. So I think you have good
I
judgment
don't think
on
we
that.
have to see everything.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I think
So it doesn't have to be exactly what it says, but
No,
use
yeah.
your judgment.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say, it does, it's not like it's going to human resources in a big city and they say, no,
Right.
no, no, because it
exactly.
doesn't meet,
You are.
but
You're more flexible than that, but if you
It's
are
true.
right away thinking this isn't going to work, I think
Yeah.
we'll go along
Yeah.
with that. That's my opinion.
we totally trust
I trust this.
your
Okay.
judgment.
okay, so that's where we are. I did not really expect many by this time because of the having to put it together, but I do hope we get somebody.
All right. Well, we'll see.
This is a weird question, but is it the board's policy to notify people that their application wasn't in what they had in mind, or you just like let them just try to figure out if anything?
No, they would, but I wouldn't do it until the process
Till
is
it's finished.
completed.
You wouldn't do it till after
Yeah.
You
the,
will let
Closing
them
date.
Closing
know.
date.
Yes, absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah,
It's nice to know.
but you hate to reject somebody when you haven't completed the
Yeah, I
process.
understand, but I'm just
That's
saying
not a good
nowadays you
policy.
just send out your resume,
I-
you never hear back.
Yeah, no, you're
yeah,
right.
no,
It's
no.
nice to have some closure on
yeah,
that.
then they know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Facilities development program update.
Okay, we've got a lot of stuff here. See if we can get through it in a fairly orderly way. This is fun stuff. You can look at it as you wish. These are things from the architectural team.
Oh, okay.
As you know, John has specialists in all areas: mechanical engineers, structural engineers, cost developers, soils, water, all manner of things. So these are a small version of the completed documents, and this is all the specs and so on for Burbank and for County Central. And he has prepared a larger set of this, which we put in a box, and it was given to our banker, Norm Winters, and he's taking, and also a CD that had to be delivered by hand by Mary, because it's too big a file to send on the internet, if you can believe it. So he took all of that, and he gives it to his appraiser, who has to do an as-built appraisal in order to ascertain whether the plans come up to at least as much as we would borrow, so that they're covered if things
Right.
go galley west. Of course, it certainly will, but that's the first real costing. Now we have one of his team members is also doing a cost analysis for us, and we should have that in 2 or 3 weeks. But the bank has to do a separate one, which is called an as-built appraisal, which is different from the cost analysis. And I've been told by Anderson Perry, Howard Brooks, who's working with John, that they do vary. And but it doesn't mean anything really, because you never know what it's really going to cost till you put it out to bid. But the as-built appraisal is necessary in order for the financing to move forward. Okay, so here's a bunch of stuff there, and John's been working very, very, very hard to get these really up and running and out of here by last week.
Okay.
So that's moving along beautifully. We've been working with the City of College Place. They have a very strict and well understood process that requires all of the SEPA material to be done prior to approval of the site plan. So I was working with John and Howard Brooks from Anderson Perry, and I spent 2 hours just today going over the timeline and the different kinds of reports they need. I've spent a lot of time in the last couple weeks working on what's called a traffic count, so that they can ascertain how much traffic in terms of individuals and vehicles come in to use the library at what times of day. They're looking for times of peak traffic, because they have to couple that with the other traffic statistics at given intersections. And then when they determine that they have to enlarge an intersection or put in a stoplight or something, they figure out which new entities, and there's a school, there's us, and there's an apartment complex, impact those particular intersections. There are 2, and at what percentage. So I've been working with Perry at the library where I used to work, because he's real techno savvy, and he has been keeping statistics, electronic data on people coming and going and on traffic and that sort of thing. And it turns out from Howard Brooks at Anderson Perry, who's working with Kittleson on the traffic report, that there are no library statistics anybody can rely on. So they're taking the Baker County statistics because this guy is so techno-savvy and he actually has some data. And that data is yielding a lot of really useful information. So Howard was telling us today, worst case scenario, we would be looking at maybe another 20,000 to contribute to intersections.
Right.
And maybe less.
Our impact on the traffic
That's right.
situation.
So that's a lot of that, and that all has to be done before the SEPA. Also, the groundwater has to be evaluated and designed before the SEPA documents are complete, and they go with the drawings and the site plan. So there are a lot of steps that have to be done before the City of College Place Planning Department actually sits down for an official, pass-through. So that's where we are on that, and things are going well. The drawings meet site plan requirements as far as the structure, as far as the Anderson Perry, who works on soils and water and structure and that sort of thing. So I just kind of wanted to give you a flavor of the complexity of the activities that are occurring as we get really, really down into achieving our goals here.
Does anybody have a best guess as to when we might break ground?
I will. This is being recorded and everything, and so we're just not going to name dates, but the team is working diligently to try to get Burbank and County Central out to bid in the early fall, hoping to get some of the work done before the winter so that we can carry on. But you can't hold anybody to that because
Right.
this is the best possible result from the financing, the College Place planning department. Certainly, John's team has been right on target. They've been cranking this stuff out, not only in a timely manner, but actually ahead of time because we worked our timelines backward on who needed this when and what to do with it. So that's what I know about that. I mean, that's the timeline we're working on, but a lot of things could change that. Like bad seepage on the site that needs to be remediated. Crazy things like that. Also, the county had rezoned the Burbank property in 2005 from public reserve. They just did a broad rezoning and put it back into residential. So we have to go back and get it rezoned.
Oh.
And they do it in December for free across the board, but we can't do a darn thing in Burbank until it's rezoned, so they'll do it for a modest fee in September. So that's what we're looking at for Burbank. But it takes that long to get our bid documents and get them out to bid and so on. So, there are a lot of different things in play. A lot of moving parts to the whole process.
So what do you think about Prescott then?
What I think is that once the Burbank County Central detailed things that the team has been really prioritizing get done, they're going to start doing the very same thing for Tushy and Prescott, and they're each much easier jobs. Tushy's been cleared by the county, Prescott's been cleared by the city of Prescott. So it's really a matter of his team having the time after they walk away from Burbank and County Central to just sit down and do the job. So it's also on the schedule, but I can't, you know, and when they go out to bid, we're thinking of putting Burbank, Touchy, and Burbank, Touchy, and Prescott out in the same package, but with different numbers, you know, different
Phases. Phases.
No, the phasing is for Burbank, but
Okay.
but basically to be able to track the Burbank expenditures because they're part of the financing package. But it may be that one contractor would like to bid all three. So these are just things that are happening. And we're speaking of everything now publicly because we get all these Freedom of Information Act requests and everything that I tell you that goes on record, I don't have to dig out and put on the table.
Yeah, why not?
This has nothing to do with libraries. I was heartened laying in bed last night listening to the news. Hermiston is becoming quite a booming city, and they're building a new water treatment plant. And they have worked really hard, and it's going to be like a state-of-the-art thing and the only one on the West Coast and yada, yada, yada. And the bids came back in like 40% less than they thought they were going to be.
Nice.
So
That would be fabulous.
yeah, they were like totally blown away. So then they could start taking their money and doing some other things.
Actually, that's a really good point because that's one of the reasons that we are, you know, really pushing this instead of just lolling along. Anderson Perry has told us, and John has heard, that these are big projects, and that we can attract, you know, quite a lot of bidding because they're still hungry out there.
Yeah.
So
There's a need for projects by contractors. So
the sooner we get, you know, we don't want the whole thing to turn around on us. And so the costs, the capital projects budget status, I gave you this sheet. It's in your packet, and I think I also sent it to you. And this is something I've just been developing. It's not totally refined yet, but the numbers are good. And I've been working on it, and I'm going to get it more refined so that I can start tracking. See, we have the SD and the DD. The DD is design development. The PC is preliminary something or another. Anyway, all of these things come under that original contract. And then under the capital construction are the costs of the actual buildings and the property and so on. So we had originally budgeted the 127 something for the architect, and then dropped it back to 98,000 because it looked like that's pretty much what it was projecting at, according to what John told me. And you can see down at the bottom, I have spent 77,000 on the architectural things, but if you look at our budget, it's actually 98,000. That's because this 19 over here, which I have under construction for capital funds, actually was part of the design development and should be over here. So that pretty much picks up the rest of that. So that is right on target for what we had budgeted. And as far as the land purchases and so on, I didn't bring all those documents. I have them on my drive if you want to look at them today, but you've seen them many, many times. You know, the construction costs and everything. They haven't changed at all. They include the land purchase. You know, and each branch has its own cost structure, including furnishings and taxes and the architectural component. There will be a new architect's contract, which will pick up the rest of the money in the construction documents. This first preliminary was just 127 initially, or 147 initially, starting way last year. So there'll be a new contract, which will probably not exceed what he projected, but it will have to be a new contract for the construction phase. So,
Yeah, 'cause we only did a contract for the beginning.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so this is kind of a skeletal outline. The numbers are accurate, but they're in the wrong place. So, so far so good. And then the financing arrangements, I have provided pink, no, this one.
Okay.
Okay. There's a lot of complex stuff, and you can look at it at your leisure. I actually emailed it to you. Everything that's here I've emailed to you, but I brought it in case you had questions. The top page is an opinion from the National Credit Union Association attorney. The bottom line, they speak of the issue of...
Who's writing this?
Yeah, that's why I attached.
I couldn't tell
Is
who wrote it.
This is from you?
I'll tell you. That's why when I sent it to you, I also sent the email that it came with. It came from Norm Winters, and he received it from the National Credit Union Association attorney. This is not an official opinion. We are waiting for the official legal opinion. But this came down to them, and and this has been already received by the Luck Group in the Freedom of Information. So they've already seen it. The last sentence reads, "For these reasons, Old West Federal Credit Union can make a loan to the Walla County Rural Library District, irrespective of whether the Rural Library District is within the credit union's FOM, which is field of
Their membership area.
yeah, or becomes a member." And the reason is they are making the distinction a municipality. It's an investment instead of a loan. So that's why I had to give him our salary, increases for the next year. And then this pre-application is one that I signed so that they can get the thing moving. It's just like the other application. It's not an official contract yet. It's just the pre-application. And I sent that jobs thing so that he could see the extent to which, and that's actually here on the back page of that goldenrod thing, to show what our current FTE is, what we have at Plaza and Administrative Building, what's going to move over to County Central, and where any new positions are going to be. So that's what all this documentation is for. And then the last page is something that I did for Washington Trust, because they may or may not be a partner with us, depending on whether Old West attorneys send down the final opinion that Old West can carry it by themselves. If they can't, Washington Trust will be our partner, their partner, and it'll be together. So we need an official determination on that. But what I had to do for them was to project out to show them that the loan repayment could be sustained over time. And I did it for a $2.3 million loan and a 2.6. They want to authorize us for 2.6, but we intend to take no more than 2.3. So I showed them how the 2.3 would work and how the 2.6 would work. And the 2.6, it all evens out by 2019, and then we start gaining money again. So anybody who wants to talk to me about this, I'm happy to sit down with you individually or answer questions right now. But it's just a lot of projection on, and that's when I use that salary, projection, structure, and so on.
We do have an official opinion coming from the
That's right.
NCUA. Okay.
Yeah, Yeah, we're expecting, yeah, I just wanted you to have this, so that you'd see that it's looking, real solid. And we did meet with Washington Trust, a representative, Larry Vanden something.
Are they out of
Yeah.
Spokane, the Washington
Yeah,
Trust?
they are. And they will, he came down to visit, Norm and I visited with him, and he looked at all the properties, and they're willing to partner if that's necessary.
What does that mean?
It just means that if for some reason Old West, if the opinion does not permit Old West to handle it, then Old West will do all of the back financing, and Washington Trust would be the lead on it. They're a private bank.
So do they split the money that they get? How does that work? Is that
I don't know how it works. They know how it works.
They work that out, basically.
Yeah, they worked that out.
Yeah, that's a deal between them.
Yeah,
They figure
has
out
nothing to do with
works.
us.
Yeah.
okay? Did we have to pay attorney fees on getting this?
Not yet.
Did this? No.
No,
Oh, good.
they haven't asked us for any. So, do you have any questions about all of this, the financing efforts?
You said yes, okay, good.
What?
I said yes and good.
Yes and good. Okay,
Well,
there's that.
I
Okay.
want to go on record saying, Aletha, we appreciate all this financial skills that you have, that you brought to us.
Well, thank you.
Because this is a lot of work.
Yeah, that's what I could look at these.
Really heavy duty.
Yeah, well,
So that requires a new person to have a lot of financial
Yes.
background.
That's
And I really think that's
right
that's
up there
exactly
with-
right. Because you see what we get from the county.
Yeah.
They track our money, and they don't lose our money. But there's absolutely no understanding between the reports we get, where we stand, what percentages we're spending, whether the income is exceeding the outgo. Neither report has the information for the other one. So we have to have our own budget tracking.
And so the new director would have to have more skills than a lot of library
Well,
people have.
you say
probably.
that, but when you're dealing with small library districts, that is the skill they need.
So do you think some of them will then? I mean, you think it won't be as hard as I think it might be?
If they're coming from a similar venue or have worked in a large branch where they've had to do their own budgeting, they'll be fine.
Okay, that's true. They have $1 million budgets.
Right,
The big libraries.
they do,
Yeah.
but they have to be able to, they have to be responsible for that budget.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really important.
Before you go on past the facilities, I was buying a chair in Walla to sit in so that my back didn't hurt. You should go visit this lady. And I said, she was really nice. She sat me down and she measured chairs, and she was just an extremely good salesperson. And I said, have you ever done any library equipment work? And she said, I designed 4 libraries for King County, and now I've just moved back to Walla Walla to be closer to home. So here's your card.
That's what I need.
And she already knew the new County Central, and she already knew John Campbell.
I actually saw her sign when I was coming back from getting lunch today, and and it said local, and I said, I'm going to look into them. That is so fantastic.
Yeah, she was a very good. Her name's Carolyn
Total
Barnes.
Office Concepts.
Total Office Concepts, and they have one in I mean, it's not
That is
just,
so cool.
they have one in Yakima, Tri-Cities, and Walla Walla, and someplace else.
That's right.
Yeah. But the fact that she's done 4 libraries for King County, she was telling me all about them, and they were different. One was a big one, and one was a small one.
Yep. And that's what we've got.
So I said, I gave her your name, but I said, don't call her till after Monday.
She's busy right now.
Actually, as
We
I
could
said,
buy one chair for the future librarian, the future director. We promise her more, but it's a little slow coming.
yeah. Yeah.
And then I happened to be in Colfax the other day, and we parked in front of the Whitman County Library on our way to go over across the street to the TikTok drug store. And I said to my husband, let's go in here. And so we went in, and I introduced myself to the lady, and she took us all through a tour, and they've just done some remodeling. So if any of you get up that way or go to a different library.
How big is it?
It's the library.
Which town are you gonna?
Whitman County's got 11.
Is this the O'Neill?
It's the one right on Main Street.
The Neil is Pullman. City
Yeah.
of Pullman.
No, it's not.
Oh.
And everything in Whitman
So which
County
one is
except
this? In
Pullman.
Colfax?
No, this is the whole rural library district.
Yeah, but
except
it's in
Pullman.
It's in
Except Pullman,
Colfax.
yes.
It's in Colfax. They said they had the entire county except Pullman. Pullman had their own.
Yeah.
And so she took. They even have an elevator because they were working in an existing building that had
Yeah.
had 3 floors.
Even had an elevator.
But we wouldn't need an elevator.
John keeps saying 2 stories. I said no. He said, and then he comes back about 3 months later and he says, you know, if we did 2, I said no. And the reason I say no, by the way, is because it increases your staffing.
But
And your security.
But I
Exactly.
encourage any of you to stop there because they were just eager to show, and they did an awful lot of. They explained to me a lot about how they had a community buy-in where people had donated things to the libraries as far as rooms and their name was on the door and such. And then they had this wonderful collection of old black and white photographs to decorate it with, and it was, that they'd scanned, that they got community people had brought in. So you see the floods. I mean, because Colfax has had a lot of floods over the
Yeah,
years.
that's what they're known for.
And but I encourage you to go because they were just so nice to me. Yeah. And they also had a coffee thing where they explained it to me.
Oh, that famous coffee thing.
But it was pretty simple. It wasn't a really complicated thing. And they said it worked quite successfully.
Yeah.
And we're in
I like
partnership
coffee
with them on the
things.
e-reader grant, so
Oh, yeah?
go say hello to our neighbors down the road.
Yeah.
Okay, moving along.
Okay. So
Let's see, where are we at?
we're down at the correspondence.
Freedom of information.
Freedom of information.
Yeah, freedom of information. So you will recall at the last meeting, our correspondence included a request, a letter from them about, you know, what they sent to us, and I had sent it to you, and you looked it over, and we just put it into the record under correspondence, and they basically said that if we didn't respond the way they wanted us to, they would continue to file requests. That's an accurate statement. And so our meeting was the 15th, and on the 18th I got another request.
They're using the Freedom of Information Act punitively against us. Is that what?
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought that was one of the things that we could limit what they can get at. We have inmates use the Freedom of Information Act punitively against staff, and you can go back and seriously limit what they can do. It's
You
been done
can.
a couple of times.
You can, and that's a really good point, Tom. And I really think that we'll just kind of monitor it. This time it took me 2 days to gather things. That's why everything is coming out on the table and getting there and going up on the website. There's really nothing we're protecting anymore because we don't have any things we have to redact because we don't have any areas where competition can damage our status. So we'll see whether they do it again. We would have to use our attorney. And we would have to put in a request and call it harassment or something. It would probably go before a judge.
Are you documenting when the requests come in and how long it takes you to fulfill them?
Exactly.
How much staff time is being spent on that? Because
Right.
that's another one that...
Yeah, keep
Yeah.
track of your time. That would be.
There's no way of charging them for your time.
Not for
No.
my time, no.
No, you can't charge for finding documents that exist. They
Right.
can only ask for documents that exist. You can charge for duplicating things that exist that they want. staff
You
time.
mean the photocopy? That's right.
If someone came in and said, I want 500
Postage.
photocopies, you could charge them for that staff
bill
time.
them for
Postage.
time, but if it comes to a push-shove situation, having that is
Yeah.
ready is going to be better than having to go back and dig it all up and having
Right.
it documented that they're using this punitively,
Right.
maliciously to
Right.
run this kind of time.
So I want to see what they think they're going to continue to do. They walked away with a couple of documents this time, not much, nothing that.
It wasn't a large volume.
No, and it would have been on the website anyway, and part of it already was. So, it's just pretty irrelevant. So we'll continue to see what they intend to do, and if it gets to that point, we will act. But I hate to spend money when it's not necessary, and my time, of course, is pretty valuable. So if it keeps happening, that's a cost.
Yes.
But do we really want to go to court and,
Well, it takes energy away from our goal,
If it's published on the web and available to the general public, why should they be allowed to request it? Shouldn't you just direct them to go look it up themselves?
That's a very good question, but I have to say that up until this most recent time, we have had a number of things which have not been on the web but are relevant because they had to do with property purchase and things like that.
Right.
And I had to provide the documents but black out
Right,
the
exactly.
actual property.
Oh, okay.
So there are documents which were not available.
Can't be published on the web.
Yeah, that were not available otherwise. So, yeah. So
We're talking things like minutes that exist online.
Yeah.
And when they do a public records request, we have them. You have to keep them written in a binder, so we flag them all, and that's what, they're looking at that at the table saying, I want this and this, even though they're available online.
But the point, your point's well taken, because frankly, at the last meeting, their correspondence basically said, if you don't do what we want, we're going to continue, and if you do what we want, we will desist, which means that they're not looking for information so much as continuing to harass.
Annoyance.
Just to
So,
cause grief.
right. So I just want to see how long this continues.
I have a question. When they ask for a document to be kept private, what's our obligation to that?
None.
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 They can't
was
ask
that
for it.
public?
Well, they can ask
Yes.
for it, but we don't have to
We
do
publish
it.
theirs.
Yeah.
Yes, but basically, if we were to enter into like a negotiation with someone, negotiations, I believe, can be contract negotiations can fall under something. I think I'm not a lawyer, so don't quote me. But
But the letter they sent us cannot be held private, even if they requested
No.
it.
That's correct.
Cannot.
No, if you
Did
send
they
it to a
request
public
it?
They
official,
Yes.
did. In the letter, it asked,
In the
please
letter.
keep this private, but I don't think we
That was
legally
the last-
can.
no,
No.
No,
no,
not this letter, the last
No.
one.
No. The
Right,
last.
Right.
and I
Not this
want, and I told Aletha, I want Karen Anderson's name
Yeah.
in public record
Right. She has
right
signed.
here today. And it says that she's representing the Luck people, but I don't know who that is anymore. And I don't know if anybody here
Well,
can clarify
she-
that.
She and Alan Kopp came in and looked at the records the last time.
Okay.
Oh, so he's,
So did their last letter get put on our website?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we have everything in order on the website,
Lovely.
Yeah.
on the
Okay.
public documents website.
Under Luck. The Luck.
Look, Library User Coalition correspondence.
There
It's
you
all
go.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it's from stuff they've sent to the county, some of it's stuff they've sent to the city, but it's all in chronological order.
Some of it they sent to the
The
Banks.
NCUA, it's sort of.
Oh, I didn't
So
know
someone
that.
writing an editorial could look that up and
Someone could
put
see
it
it
in the
all in
newspaper.
chronological order. Yeah.
Lovely.
We've had unofficial, people have come in and unofficially asked, can I have so-and-so? Not like an official public records request. Someone came in and said, I want that thing Dan Clark sent you. That kind of stuff. So it's all there, it's easy accessible. If anyone wants to read it all in order, they can.
Now, she's saying they've determined that the responses have been incomplete and in violation of chapter,
Blah, blah, blah.
omitting. But how do they know they're incomplete?
They can't know.
Well, this is the funny part of the law. People can say you've excluded a document, but the requester is not required to name the document that's gone.
Yeah.
So you're both left with kind of, well, I gave you everything, well, no, you didn't. Well, what do you want? Well, I won't tell you. And so it's just,
They're just fishing.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
So
this,
it's harassment.
well, yeah, and this letter,
getting there.
it includes the language of a threat, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That the document was not there, and
But
the
the last-
fine is up to $100 a day, you know.
Which I can't
And the
find
last
anything
letter was a
public.
threat too.
There's a fine
If you
there.
don't do it our way,
That's right.
Oh, on time. Yeah.
That's right.
The 5
This letter of April 18th is a follow-up to the ones that offered this deal, which our attorney said
There's the whack.
was ridiculous because they have no standing to enter into
Right.
contracts. You know, they're asking us to do something that can't be done. So-
where, where they wanted to continue to
List of who's in the group.
sell.
So Tom's point's well taken, and I would reiterate that this is the first one to follow that smacks more of harassment than just trying to find out the information that they were desiring to know that we were required to keep close. And as far as I know, I have absolutely no belief that anything was withheld.
What have we got to withhold?
Yeah, really.
All our documents are public.
I think we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. And the only things that were withheld really were the properties.
And that we were legally.
You can,
And you can do that.
They can be done legally until,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you can also see attached in pink here that the Old West forwarded to me a letter they got from USDA, who had also received a letter of Freedom of Information request from the same group after last month's board meeting. So they just sent it all out again. So that's
And there
for the
was
record.
There was another one, right?
And then there's the one from
So you had
Norm
two
to
different-
Veronica.
That's the one. You see, they can't ask for information from the bank because the bank is not a public agency. They asked for USDA, and the USDA had received
Not one.
correspondence from the bank, and so the USDA is required as a public agency to reveal the correspondence they received from the bank, but the bank is not required to reveal what they have.
Now, when Veronica Bear, RD Yakima, what's RD stand for?
Rural
Rural
development.
development.
Rural Development.
Yeah. So that's just what's happened since our last meeting, since we just filed it under correspondence.
Well, like a chess match.
What is the lawyer saying? Is he expressing any opinion?
Yeah,
at all?
basically what Tom said and what I've been saying, that we could look at as harassment, but why spend the money? Kind of.
Oh, yeah.
But it's costing a lot of money.
No, not,
It's costing
It is,
money,
yeah,
because
but
it's gonna
costing
cost-
Lisa's time.
It is.
we're talking thousands to do the harassment piece. I mean, it would give us a good feeling but unfortunately,
If you ever do talk to any of the county commissioners, you can thank them that Tom is sitting down there at the table.
Absolutely.
Instead of our letter writer, who
well,
also applied.
we had a little talk.
Okay.
We had a little talk with one of the county commissioners. Prior
Who
to
was
this-
unaware of all of it?
Yes, prior to the selection process.
Right.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on. Van purchase.
Okay, we
You
need
got
a
a motion. Somebody got a motion.
Oh, here. Since I
Go for it,
won
girl.
by the last one, I'll try again.
Okay,
Maybe this time we'll actually get
maybe it'll
one.
stick.
I move that the Rural Library District authorize the purchase of the 2009 Chevrolet Express van from McCurley Integrity Dealership of the 1325 North Autoplex Way, Pasco, Washington, for the sum of $15,927, including all taxes, and approved voucher number 367 at the same amount, for the purpose of providing courier service for the district, materials to its various branches, and other district purposes as may be deemed appropriate.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the Rural Library District authorize the purchase of a 2009 Chevrolet Express van from McCurley Integrity Dealership of 1325 North Autoplex Way, Pasco, Washington, 99301, for the sum of $15,927, including all taxes, and approved voucher number 367 in that same amount, for the purpose of providing courier service for district materials to its various branches and other district purposes as may be deemed appropriate. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Amen, sister.
We can get your picture all in the back of it.
I'm good with that one. No, I'm disagreeing with that one. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with it, but I don't like how it's written, sorry.
Which one?
It's too vague, I can't do a money one like that one. Maybe
So,
Okay.
Andrew,
too hard for me.
Andrew, did you want that officially abstain?
I'm abstaining from that one.
From the van?
No, number 2.
Oh.
I'm talking to Patsy about, no, van, have a
Sorry.
van.
What was
No,
missing
we
up
don't
there?
need a van.
Okay, I was skipping ahead, sorry.
No.
She was going to use her bicycle.
Okay.
Okay.
No, please, get a van.
I move to adopt budget resolution 2013-4 for the repurposing of funds in different categories of the expenditure within the same total revenue and expenditure authorization as the adopted budget for 2013.
Do I have a second?
What's your objection? We can't
Do I have
You
a
have to second
second?
before you can discuss.
You can vote it down.
You can vote it down after you've seconded. It's just to talk about it.
Okay, so I'll second it.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt budget resolution 2013-4 for the repurposing of funds in different categories of expenditure within the same total revenue and expenditure authorization as the adopted budget for 2013. All those in favor say aye.
Well, didn't you
No,
want
we
to
can
hear
discuss
that?
after
Want the
the
discussion.
Discuss.
Right. Okay.
Robert's rule says after the second is when you discuss it.
That's
in fact.
Okay. Gotcha. Sorry.
Okay.
Got lost on that one.
That's all right. My only problem is in the vagueness of the way it's written, so it's hard for me to move that. Because it's moving, you're sounding like you could move anything at any time with that resolution.
But it's the resolution, which is numbered.
They're not.
It's just hard for me. I was just speaking, I was quietly
but
saying,
isn't-
I'm not going to speak on this one, I'll do this one.
But here's,
Okay, all right.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
this is
she's-
not my thing, with
Okay.
moving money.
It's the way
Got it.
Let somebody else be the person.
Okay.
I'm
this
abstaining.
is how it's moved.
Right, but Andrea
okay.
has a right.
Yeah, she's
I'm
fine.
abstaining from
But I mean, it's not as vague as that because it's all here. You said this is
Can
the
we
attached
attach
number.
it to this?
That's
Can
how
we put
you-
a number
This
on
is what's going to be signed.
But
This
this is
That's just a motion.
the motion, but this is the,
We're okay. We can
I
do
don't
it.
like moving money. I don't like to change the budget. I'm having a little bit of a difficult time with the budget. We're going to discuss next month the budget again. I'm okay. I'm not telling you we're doing anything wrong if you move this, but I'm abstaining at this point.
Any other discussion? If there's none,
Well, I can understand. Couldn't we put something in here that limits it to these specific things?
Well, it does.
It does.
that's the
It's
number.
resolution.
That's why
number.
this resolution is numbered.
It's the. It isn't numbered, is it?
No, it's
I
not.
Yeah, it
forgot
says
to-
it's
It,
It
with
says
this
it's-
resolution, you can change anything in the budget into any category.
No,
No.
I can only change what I've
With
done.
the wording of this,
Well, change the wording.
That's
you can change anything all year
Change-
long in
change-
your budget, and I cannot go with that.
well, that's not the way it
No,
was
wait.
supposed to be worked. No,
You're right.
The motion, the way you spoke it,
Resolution
Yeah.
2013-4.
is the
Which-
year.
is the year and the month.
And the resolution.
The 4 means
what
it's
I
from-
didn't do in my haste
It should
was
have been
put
5.
the resolution number right here.
that's what we
Yeah,
need.
that's what you need.
So if you like
I'm
that,
being too particular, I know.
No,
but
no,
it
no, it
no,
needs
I
to be
agree.
there.
Because someone that was not honest, which is not you, could easily switch that, and it bothers me.
well, what I'm going to
Okay,
leaves it
do.
open
vote
door.
and we'll
We need to
vote it
fix
down
this
and we'll
because next time
rename
it
it.
might be me. who's too
okay. Those in favor
Wait, wait,
say
wait, wait.
aye.
Wait, she can.
What
No,
I-
we
what
can
I-
vote down
No,
and
we
we'll
got to
rename
vote it
it.
down.
Okay.
And
Why
then
are
we
you
got
going
to
to vote
fix
it
it.
down?
We just vote it
Well,
out and rename it and have a new one.
The motion will die
Why will the motion die?
because everybody's going to vote no.
And
then
what are
we're
you gonna, what are you gonna do then?
Then we're going to
Then we're going
rename
to put
it.
a new note,
and
then
put a
we're
new
going to
motion on.
redo it.
Right, okay.
That's the fastest, simplest way.
Well, that's the Robert's Rules of Order way.
Right.
So, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed, same.
Nay.
Nay.
Nay. Okay.
Motion fails.
Come up with a new
Okay,
motion.
let's rewrite
All right,
the
the
motion.
motion should be the date of today. So it should be 2013, 5/13.
Okay, it's gonna be right here dated when Carol
Okay.
To
signs it.
move the specific items
To
listed
move the specific
in
items
that-
listed,
Right,
Just need a document number.
yeah, it's
right.
2013, 5/13.
My mistake was not putting the 2013
And
dash
that
4
goes-
here.
And now it's going
And
to be
it's not
5.
four,
It's May.
but it's not four, because
No,
April's
no,
gone
no,
now.
it's our fourth resolution of the
Oh,
year.
fourth,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's our
oh,
fourth, we have 3 resolutions in the file right now.
Right.
all right, but
Okay.
My mistake was not.
Revision 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
that title was supposed to be right there.
Right, okay, so for revision 4, for those specific items to be transferred between each other, keeping the totals the same.
Yes.
okay,
Do
now
you want to?
I can motion that one.
all right,
Okay,
go ahead.
you make the
Right.
motion.
I move that we transfer money between line items in the specific items listed on resolution to revise the budget 2013 revision 4
Thank
to
you.
the budget.
For revision 4.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
It has been moved.
I didn't write it down, but specifically for those items.
He has it.
Right.
He has it.
I have it paraphrased. You
That's
move.
fine.
Yeah, it wasn't
That's
that
fine.
elaborate either, so.
You've got.
Well, it's on the tape too.
Right. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. You know, guys, I thought I was going to have to go through every one of these things.
No,
Oh,
no,
it
not
was
that
fine.
crazy.
It was, I'd already done that at home.
Bless you.
But I
Okay.
cannot have.
So do
Oh,
we
I see your point. It allows
signature
the
Carol?
motion. Okay.
But
Yeah,
She just wanted the motion more clear.
right.
That's all right.
Just keep it, everybody.
Well, everybody has a
No, you
different
have to,
role
you gotta keep the
on
doors,
the board.
because she's gone and someone else steps in. That resolution says they can change anything in the budget to any category.
Only if they
After
live
they're
long
gone.
enough not to get run over in the parking lot.
Yeah, you gotta keep it.
Well, you have 2 copies. You
Oh,
don't
man.
need both. Okay, now a motion to extend the interim director's
Did
contract.
you date it?
Yeah, I'm
Carol?
working on it.
Down
There
at
we
the
are,
bottom there, yeah.
5:13.
That's really important at this point.
This is fourth.
Okay, I'll take it.
Now she's.
13, 13.
Sounds like a.
Very good.
Revision for
Next
2013.
Okay, here we go. We're almost there, guys.
Do you want to explain this anymore?
Sure, I'd be
Alright.
happy to. It's in the budget revision. What happens is that I was going to put out the ad for the new director in January. And then we kept getting attacked, and I announced in February that I wasn't leaving until it was resolved. And now it looks pretty good, and if things blow up, before that.
We know where to find you.
But anyway, I sent you my payroll sheet for May, giving you a lot of explanation. When my contract was extended for 9 months for an amount not to exceed the same amount as before. The 9 months is up May 15th, but we haven't really expended all the money. But now I'm staying longer than you intended, so I have cut down on the director's amount budgeted, and I've added it to the contract. And so if the motion just extends my contract, which you have the right to do, as you recall, under the same terms, not to exceed, you'll like that motion, not to exceed what's authorized by the budget process.
All right. I move to extend the contract for the interim executive director under the same terms as currently exist until such time as new executive director is hired. and orientation period is completed. The term of such extension to be constrained or expanded by specific budget authorizations given by formal budget resolution for this purpose.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to extend the contract for the interim executive director under the same terms as currently exist until such time as a new executive director is hired and orientation period is completed, the term of such extension to be constrained or expanded by specific budget authorizations given by formal budget resolution for this purpose. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next meeting, June 10. Location? Wherever.
Tushy.
You want to Tushy? Tushy it
All
is.
right, Tushy.
Maybe
it
we
is.
could look at our new digs.
Yeah, that'd be
let's
nice.
do that.
Fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
we turn that off.